Hello and welcome. We are at the 48th annual meeting for the Asian Development Bank in Azerbaijan in Baku. Today I am joined by Indu Bhushan, who is the Director General for the Strategy and Policy Department at the ADB. Thank you very much for joining us.
My pleasure.
So today is a particularly important day, especially for your department, because as the President has just announced, the Ordinary Capital Resources Equity will merge with the Asian Development Fund's equity to reach equity base of around $53 billion. So this is the first time for the ADB. It's a very special move. Could you tell us why this is happening and how this will help your program funding?
Indeed, we are extremely delighted, and this is not only the first time that's happening in ADB, it's happening for the first time in any MDB, and this is the first time that a soft window, which is based on donor contribution, is being merged with a market-based window, which like OCR. The question is that why are we doing it? We are doing it because soft window, ADF, is not leveraged. It's based on donor contribution, and it's like an account from which we provide resources to poorer countries, both grant and loan. And then we have ordinary capital resources, which is more market-based. So now our ADF resources are constrained by how much money we get from donors. And our OCR resources are constrained by our equity to loan ratio or capital that we have. So now by merging it, what is happening is that our capital base is almost tripled, so we can leverage it, and that provides us more resources and ability to finance resources. And because of this merger, actually we also can provide more resources to poorer countries using the same terms that they were getting under ADF. So it's a win-win-win situation where our poorer countries are benefiting because we can provide up to 70% more resources to poorer countries. Our other OCR recipients are benefiting because we can provide more resources to them. And at the same time, the contribution of donors will be reduced by almost half.
And some people are arguing, given that there will be increased lending up to around $20 billion, the President said, which is a 50% increase. Because there's increased lending, and especially to less developed countries, because the OCR focuses on those kinds of states in Asia, will the risk increase because the paid-in capital in the ADB is not increasing while the lending is increasing as well? What is your feedback on this?
Actually, this was a concern for all of us, including our shareholders. We have consulted with 3 rating agencies, and what we find is that before the merger, our financial capacity was rated as very strong, but after the merger, it becomes extremely strong. Why? Because of the 2 factors. One is that our equity base will triple. So we have more capital, although the paid-in capital, as you mentioned, has not increased, but our total capital has tripled. Second is that we are more diversified. And earlier, OCR was there in a few countries. Now ADF covers about more than 30 countries. So when we combine both of them, then our concentration risk goes down. And that also helps in terms of improving our rating.
And since the OCR, which is funded through capital markets, its equity will triple, as we said, how is this going to affect ADB's capital markets funding going forward?
Of course, we'll have to raise more capital because, as you just mentioned, that if we are going to have operations of $20 billion every year, we need to generate that kind of capital from the market. So our market activities also increase in that proportion.
Do you have any idea of which kind of, for example, bond markets or currencies, or this is early days in terms of where more activity will happen?
Of course, the early days. And secondly, I'm not the expert on this. Probably our colleagues in Treasury may be able to give you a more specific answer. But in general, all activities would increase because we would need bond financing for providing loans, but also currency financing because we'll also be expanding in local currency markets.
And the ADB also announced that, addressing the concerns of whether ADB would be able to maintain its AAA rating. In one of your press releases, it mentions that you're, very positive that it most likely will not change. Have there been any updates or a final decision in terms of how the rating will be?
Uh, Ratings have to be decided by rating agencies. And as I mentioned, that we have consulted with 3 rating agencies, and they believe that actually rating would remain same, and actually our capacity becomes stronger. So of course we can't go beyond AAA, but we'll continue that. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much for your time and good luck with this new venture.
Thank you very much.